It
This Elder Herb Hill. You can just call me Herb for those that know me. Even if you don't know me, my name is Herb. Yeah, that's my birth name. Titles are cool, but at the end of the day, it's what's on that birth certificate. Listen, I'm glad to just be a part, to be able to share with you what is going on now. Watch this. If you are a part of this session, I am recording it. If you are a part of this session, please talk. I can see your comments and things of this sort. So I'm looking to see if anybody's in the chat. You do have, okay, so there's somebody out here. Just say hello or whatever the case may be. We're not going to start. What's up there, Raul? How you doing, man? What's going on, man? How you doing? Okay, so we're waiting for everybody to come in. We got Raj in the house. And who else do we have in the house? Just state your name if you're in the house. Okay. So nobody's responded. I guess you got the software and everything, so we're good to go on that. Now, in this program, go to meeting, you can chat in the chat box, but I've actually muted everyone else. So we do have 2 minutes before we get started. So we're just going to wait for a second. Uh, I do believe that my screen is uh, you can see my screen. So the first thing about this is that if you want to be a part of this, again, this is a free tutorial that I'm giving for about a month. So from today is the 12th of uh, 12th of December, and this will end on the January the 16th. But it will not end in the sense of it's going to end. It's just going to end for being free. So this is my Christmas present to everyone. 1 month of training on uh, Logic Pro X. Okay, and so with that being said, I'm glad to have you in the house. Now you probably can see my screen. I'm glad that you can see my screen. So the first things first, if you're going to be a part of this training session, you have to have a MacBook Pro. The reason why is because Logic Pro X only works on the Mac. Okay, you have to have a Macintosh. Okay, so while we're getting familiar with one another, my name is Herb Hill, and I just want to let you know that I'm glad to have you to be a part of what we're doing here. So let me give you some of my credentials. I've been a professional musician since 1988. Okay, so but that doesn't have anything to do with Logic. So let's talk about Logic. So actually didn't start working on Logic. Matter of fact, when I started working on Logic, it wasn't even called Logic. It was called CB Labs Notator Logic, and it was not owned at that time by Apple Computers. Uh, it was a company out of Germany that created um, this program called Logic, and it was ran primarily on an Atari ST series computer. So no, they no longer make the Atari ST computers, and so they migrated to Windows, which migrated to Mac, and in 2003 they went ahead and began to use and utilize it on the Macintosh exclusively. So Windows cut off at 2003, and I was kind of upset. So I kind of like migrated to Sonar, but that's neither here nor there. So I've been doing vocal recordings, producing, and things of this sort for a very, very, very long time. And so you can pretty much do anything with Logic. I like to create on it primarily. I do my mixes in other platforms, such as Pro Tools primarily. I do my demos out of Logic, but I don't do my finals out of Logic Pro X. Okay. So what I'm gonna do for the next 30 minutes, listen, if you're here, just inbox me. You can also watch this, listen to it on not just seeing the screen, but you can also check this out on the telephone. And next time I would provide that for those that have little shoddy video imagery, for those that got older systems. Okay, so again, the first thing you have to have a Macintosh to run Logic. It's preferably that you have at least 8 gigabytes of RAM in your computer because it is very CPU intensive, okay? And so this is the screen. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel this real quick. We're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so we're gonna open up this is how Logic Pro X opens up. It asks you what you want to do. If you look in your left pane, it asks you new project. We're going to do that, of course. And then you got recent history, demo projects, project templates, which you can actually create. And I will show you that in the next session. Okay, and then you get then you have little other details in that screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on empty project. Okay, click on that and hit choose, and it brings you another dialog up. So the first dialog you see is what you want to do is actually basically, do you want to do a software instrument or a plugin? Do you want to do external MIDI, which I do have external MIDI all over the place? Do you want to hook up a regular audio microphone with your interface or guitar bass? It actually does the impedance change for that. Or the sorriest thing I believe on this this program is the session drummer. If you want to get anything done and not, kick yourself in the head, I would stay away from the drummer. Make your own drums, okay? So for intensive purposes, I don't want to get too technical on this go around. We're going to use the internal software instruments that's built in to Logic, okay? I do have a lot of MIDI gear, and I use external stuff, modules and stuff like that, but we're not concentrated on that today, okay? So software instruments, boom, going to hit create. And you can actually, if you look here at where it says number of tracks, if you go here where it says number of tracks, you can actually plug in. So say you want 10 instances of a plugin. Well, you don't have to keep going to the screen over and over again. You just type in how many tracks you want to create, okay? So we're going to hit create. We just do one for practical purposes. And then you see a classic electric piano sitting right there, okay? And I'm using a MIDI keyboard. I'm using my Korg Trinity. I got the volume turned all the way down. Matter of fact, I'm gonna mute the mixer, and we're just gonna do it like that. So as you can tell, normally I should be able to hear a note, but we're not getting any type of response. So I'm having a little glitch. Give me a quick second. I can fix this in a jiffy. All right. This is a little glitch I have because I had to replace my my interface, my MIDI interface. I have to replace it. So just bear with me 1 second. Okay, I think we got a little sound. I think. Okay, there we go. We're in the house. All right, so now I just created a track. Okay, so let's talk about all of the different things that you can do. What I'm gonna do is, this is just something I like to do. I'm gonna put this on what it's called custom, and custom lets you see everything within your parameters. Okay, so you have your regular time at the top. Then you have your time, your beats being shown, beats and measures. Then you have the right and left locator. I'm gonna explain that in a quick second. Your tempo. And then locks the tempo on there. It says keep tempo. Your time signature, your divisions. So that's how many times the metronome is going to click. Then you have MIDI in, and then MIDI out, and then of course your CPU and hard drive space. So that's basically your information deck right there. I call it the information deck. Okay. So let's talk about everything to left going to right. Okay. This is your pane, one of your panes. This, or the there's another word for it, but give me a second, I'll give that to you. Okay, it's called the library. Then you have your regions section. Okay, that deals with your volumes on per track, quantization if you're using MIDI and things like that. This is your track pane, and of course this is your arranger section right here. Okay, so we do have sound on that particular track, and we're good to go. So here we go. All right. So now we have the classic electric piano that's in here, but of course we want to make some music or whatever the case may be. And I know how to play pretty well, but we're not going to worry about trying to be musical. We just want to get the thing operational and running. All right, so this is your transport section right here in Logic Pro X, okay? Transport section is responsible for going rewinding, excuse me, fast forward, stop, play, record, and then of course loop cycle. Okay. Now the loop cycle is what we're about to talk about as far as left locator, right locator. Okay. So if you look at here at the top, it says one. That's actually beat one or measure one. Then a five. That is actually the turnaround. So this is in Logic in the old days when you're dealing with the Atari ST uh, series of computers, they would call this in the screen left locator, right locator. So that means everything to the left is beat one, everything to the right is beat five, or the turnaround point. Okay. So when you hear me speak in terms of left locator, right locator, I'm basically saying left is the first beat and right is the last beat in the cycle or the loop. Okay, so let's go back to your transport section. When you go to your transport section, you see cycle. Okay, so when I had that, there's two ways that you can make that cycle come on, and I'm gonna deal with the first one. The first one is you just hit the cycle. By default is going to do measure one through measure five. Okay, so you hit that, is automatically going to do beat one to measure five, which is for Anna, and it returns back to beat number one. Okay, but if you're like really advanced in your sequence or whatever, you're not limited to beat one through beat five. You can actually click drag like so and go all the way to beat nine. For those of you that's joining, we're just dealing with Logic Pro X, the basics. We're dealing with it from A to Z, one, two, three, to make you to the point where you're functioning and making and creating music. Okay. So as I was saying, there's a couple of ways that you can do. You can actually do what I did. You can click drag. It by default it goes to beat one to beat five. But this time, what we do is going to click drag it all the way to nine. Okay. So let's deal with how to hit record. The first thing when you pull up your plugin or your track for your MIDI, by default the record is going to be armed, and so it's going to start flashing or whatever the case may be to let you know that hey, we got an electric piano inside of the plugin, inside of the Logic Pro X or the program, and this is going to allow you to get down. There's two ways you can make this thing start to functioning. The first way, I'm gonna turn the tempo down real quick because that is a little bit too fast for me on tonight. So we're gonna go by 89 beats per minute. That should be good just for demonstration purposes. Okay. So first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna you can either hit the button, the icon where it says record, or you can go on your keyboard and hit the letter R. Remember, there are a lot of shortcuts inside of Logic Pro X. The first one is R. So R starts the recording. Space bar stops the recording, or you can go here and click on the stop icon. Okay. So let's do it like this. Okay. So what we're going to do, we got 89 tempo right here. It's gonna do 4 beats in. So I'm gonna move this a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. So if you look right here where I'm pointing, it says basically that's the count in icon. Okay. Now it's gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it's gonna start going to beat one to the last beat. And I'm just for practical purposes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click drag it back to beat number 5. I don't want to do 9 beats. That's too long. Okay, so what we got a tempo of 89 beats per minute. We got the track armed, and all I got to do is hit record. So here we go. Okay, so it counted 4 beats in, but I didn't have the regular metronome, so make sure that metronome is clicked in. Okay, so let's do it again. All right, so the next thing I need to do is I need to hit the MIDI keyboard to trigger a note so that the computer can begin to record what am I doing, okay? So here we go. We're going to do it again. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is redo that again. So what I do is I hit Command Z, which is actually delete, and I'm gonna redo that again. So it's gonna count in for me real quick. Here we go. So as you can see right now, what's happening is that it's actually playing back what I recorded. Now, if you notice, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the section where it can actually zoom in. So let's go to your zoom icon. So the zoom icon is gonna be to the far top right. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it in so I can see the notes. So if you notice in the notes, or I'm gonna bring in the piano roll a little bit, okay? Give me a second. All right. So if you notice, the notes are hitting, but they're not hitting accurately. So if you go over here to where it says regions, you go down and you see the where it says quantize. So what I'm gonna do, I know that field is like a 16, it's 16 quantization, 16 note quantization. So I'm gonna hit the down arrow, and it's gonna pull up all of the different resolutions. Okay, so I'm gonna pick the 1 to 16 note resolution, and it's gonna line everything up. Okay, so I'm gonna hit play. All right. Okay, so now you see that this thing is actually cycling. It sounds good. The notes have been lined up because I've used what it called the quantization feature inside of Logic. Okay, so now what I've just done, I have created a track. Now I'm gonna add another track. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the plus sign, go to software instrument, and I'm gonna hit create. All right. So if I look over here to the far left, okay, I go to the far left and I notice that there's the kick drum. I want to add some drums. So what I'm gonna do, instead of it says classic, two classic EPs, that's insane to do that. I'm gonna click on where it says drums, and I'm gonna select drum machine. Okay, so it got all of the little built-in little drums that you can use. Now these instruments come free with a copy of Logic. So when you buy Logic Pro X, even when you get GarageBand, some of these sounds come built in, but in Logic you have a little bit more sounds than GarageBand. So I'm gonna click the boutique. Okay, so I'm gonna test and see which sounds I'm gonna use for the drums. So I'm using my MIDI keyboard to do such. And now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use just a hi-hat, clap, and I know how to program it, all at the same time because I'm a drummer too. So I'm gonna use the kick, the snare, the hi-hat, and the open hat, and maybe the crash cymbal. Okay. So just do something simple. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hit R and hit record. 3, 4. All right, sounds pretty good to me, but it seems like it's a little not stable, the beat itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select a quantization that's called 16 note triplet. which is actually 1/24. So, give me some triplet feel or a swing feel. So I'm gonna hit play and see what happens. So it was my plan. So I'm gonna have to redo this again so that that feel can be right. Okay. So I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna hit the R key, or we're gonna hit the record icon. So I'm gonna hit R, 2, 3, 4. All right. So it needs some quantization. And I'm gonna pick 1/16 triplet or 1/24 over 24 and see what happens. I'm gonna hit play on the space bar. Okay, so now I just programmed the beat, but there's something going on in the back end of measured number 3. It sounded a little mushy on the kick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn my volume up just a little bit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and manually fix those notes in here. So this is right here is called, at the bottom is called the piano bar. And the piano bar shows you where the beats are hitting and how you can actually make edits, or you can move the notes so that way you can fix it. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play it first, and then I'm gonna go and fix the note that's messed up. All right, here we go. Sorry. Okay, that's one note. So I'm gonna go fix that and bring that over to the right. There it is, y'all. All right, little funky, little something to work with. But again, let's talk about it, okay? So we have over here, we have created a piano track, electric piano track, which I quantize it at 1/16 over here. And then I got the drums, which the TR-808 drums, and I quantized it at 1/16 triplet note. So it got a little kind of an East Coast, old school East Coast feel to it. And then of course I can add another instrument. Again, I go to the plus icon over there, software instrument. I'm gonna add a bass and make it a little complete here. So you go to your left where the library section and where it says sounds. Okay, so we're gonna pick a bass. So what we're gonna do is go to synthesizer, and then we're gonna go to bass, and we're gonna find us a nice little bass synth that would match up with this. We'll test it out real quick. Engage the track. Give me a second, because I got a lot of stuff going on here. That sound 280. A little too much techno. Monster bass. Let's see if that works. A little bit too heavy. Sound like their Rhythmix. Can't use that. Let's go up. See we. Hello. It's the darling wife. All right, let's see if we can use this 80s bass. That's a little bit too 80s for me. Okay. All right. I'm going to go with this and see if this will work. No. Let's see. Sound like something came out the Pac-Man or something. Hold up. Dark grind bass. Let's see. Let's see something. No, that ain't gonna work. So you have to use something that will blend with the track. So okay, fizzy layer bass. I think that'll work. I just need to bring the octave down. All right. So we're gonna use the funk blast bass. Here we go. Hit the R button. Okay, so we need to tighten up that bass a little bit. We're gonna go to quantization, and then we're gonna slide down to we're gonna go to here you go, 116 note triplet, and we're going to, as you see, as I selected that quantization, you see that the notes begin to shift into that flow or that feel. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit play. All right. All right, so we got a little funky beat right here. So again, this particular episode that I'm doing or the teaching is only going to be 30 minutes long because what I wanted to do is give an example of what you could do just just simple. I mean, you literally don't have to be a super musician to start to easily use Logic Pro X. Okay. Now, as you can tell, there are a whole lot more features in Logic Pro X than more than like the transform. It's more than meets the eye, but we don't have time on today. So what we're going to do is we're going to in depth our conversation on next Thursday rather, and we're going to go an hour and a half session. So I will let you know when we actually do that endeavor, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute uh, Mr. Raj and see if he will respond. Okay, hello. I'm going to unmute Raj. What's going on, Raj? You're on the mic, man. Say something real quick.
Hello?
What's going on, sir?
Nothing much.
Yeah, you watching, huh?
Yep.
That's what's up, man. How your dad doing, Doc?
He's doing pretty good.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Listen, man, did you learn anything?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have a MacBook Pro, don't you?
No.
What
The
do you currently have?
the the all-in-one thing, I don't know what it's called.
You talking about the HP?
No, it's a Apple. It's
Oh,
the
it is? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, you have an iMac.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So do you have GarageBand on your iMac?
Yes.
Okay. Now, to be honest, there's a slight difference between Logic and what do they call it? GarageBand. Uh, of course, Logic is a little bit better than GarageBand, but pretty much they do the same thing to a certain degree. Now, say for instance, you made some beats inside of GarageBand, right? What you do, you would save them to the cloud, and when you get a copy of Logic Pro X, you can pull them down and then add more to it once you get Logic. Because now Logic only costs like $200. It's really not that expensive. But like if you want extra plugins, then you have to buy that separately from um, Logic Pro X. So now I guess you can, what I taught you on today, you can pretty much go and make your own beat now, right?
Yep.
There it is, man. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute you. But listen, what you want to do, if you know any friends that's interested in doing this, just let them come up, be a part of the broadcast or whatever. And then what you can do after, let them know this only for like this free lessons for like only for a month. So it end next January the 12th, so they can get they learn on. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. So I'm gonna mute you now. So with that all being said, listen, I'm glad that Raw was able to join us on today, and he has a Mac. He has an iMac, which is a great machine. The only thing about it is that over a period of time, as you start adding more plugins, you definitely gonna have to get more RAM in your iMac because I think they come standard 4 gigabytes of RAM, and you can take it all the way to 16, depending on which model it is. And so, listen, I only have a few minutes left. If you have any questions, just post them to me. Hit me up on Facebook, and then we can continue to march and do all those great things. All right. So I'm going to sign off just a little early. And again, just take this video. I'm going to repost it on Facebook. Just take the video. Begin to share with your friends and learn the basics of using Logic, or in this case, some cases, people that got GarageBand. They're pretty much the same. Certain things you can do in Logic uh, that can't be done in GarageBand, and we'll go over those in the next broadcast. This is Elder Herb Hill, or Herb Hill, signing out. Let you know, be blessed, and take the information that you learn and apply it and share it with someone else. You be blessed on the night. I'll talk to you soon. God bless. Bye bye.